God for the bless up. I thank God so I bless up. I pray God when I bless up. I bless up. I bless up. Bless up. Bless up. Bless up. Bless up. Bless up. Bless up.
Hello everyone and welcome to Fantline Messages of Life with Marvin Fant. Today's message is the most overlooked sin is when you worry.
Okay, we got a good one for you today. The title is The Most Overlooked Sin, Worry. That's right, worry. Worry is a sin. And I know a lot of you were probably saying that worry isn't a sin, but it is. Worry is a sin. First of all, let me explain the meaning of worry. Worry is a state of anxiety and uncertainty or actual thinking of potential problems, a feeling of concern about something bad that might happen. That is worry. Worry is the complete opposite of what God is about. Now, worry is not listed as a sin per se, as we see in the Ten Commandments, but every sin is not listed in the Ten Commandments either. Okay? People see worry as a way to be proactive. They figure, well, if I'm worried about this situation or that situation, that I have to be uptight about it. I have to feel like I have to I have to do something about it. I have to constantly be thinking about something in order to try to get this, whatever the situation may be, resolved. But again, it's like we have to constantly be proactive. And as we think of worry as if it's a natural state, but it's a natural state in the sense of sin. See, worry did not kick in until the first sin was committed. When that sin nature came in, worry came along with it. See, God is not about being worried. God is not about worry. When we, as a people, as a person, as a Christian, when we have God in our mindset, knowing what He is about and what He can do for us, then worry is not an option. We don't think about worrying about this situation or that situation. Because remember, God says for us to take one day at a time. Okay? For us to take one day at a time. And not worry about tomorrow, not worry about the situations that we're going through, because He takes care of us. Let's see what the Bible says about worry. Let's go to Matthew chapter 6. Matthew 6, verse 25. Matthew 6:25. Now stop at verse 34. It says, "Therefore I tell you, stop being worried or anxious, perpetually uneasy, distracted about your life as to what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body as to what you will wear. Is life not more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap the harvest, nor gather the crops into the barns. Yet your heavenly Father keeps feeding them. Are you not much more worth than they are? And who, of you by worrying can add 1 hour to the length of your life. And why are you worried about clothes? See how the lilies and wildflowers of the field grow? They don't labor, nor do they spin wool to make clothing. Yet I say to you, not even Solomon in all his glory and splendor dressed himself like one of these. But if God so clothed the grass of the field, which is alive and green today and tomorrow is cut and thrown in fuel into the furnace, will he not much more clothe you, ye of little faith? Therefore, don't worry or be anxious, being perpetually uneasy or distracted, saying, what are we going to eat, or what are we going to drink, or what are we going to wear? For the pagan, being the Gentiles, eagerly seek all these things, and being Gentiles of the day, being the non-believers, seek all these things, but for you do not worry. For your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But first, and most importantly, seek and aim and strive after his kingdom and his righteousness. His way of doing and being right, the attitude and character of God, and all these things will be given to you also. So don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. And that's true. Each day has enough trouble of its own. There's so many things coming at us each and every day. So many situations, problems, circumstances, people. So much coming at us that it's just, it can be overwhelming. It can be overwhelming. So we should take one day at a time. Take it easy. Breathe. Take it slow. Slow the pace down a little bit, okay? Sometimes we can get real hectic. Slow it down, okay? Breathe. Let's go to Philippians chapter 4. I'll give you another one here. Philippians 4. Verse 6 and 7. Okay. And there it says, do not be anxious or worried about anything, but in everything, every circumstance and situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, continue to make your specific request known to God. And the peace of God, that peace which reassures the heart, that peace which transcends all understanding, that peace which stands guard over your hearts and your minds in Jesus is yours. And last one, John chapter 14, verse 27. John 14 and 27. Let me see. Okay. And that says, peace. This is the Lord talking to us. Peace I leave with you. My perfect peace I give to you. Not as the world gives. And you know how the world gives peace. The world's way of peace is falsehood. The world's way of peace is, oh, I put enough money in your pocket, you should be good. You should not have any worries at all. No, that's the world's peace. Christ's peace, he says, I give to you, not as the world. He says, so don't let your heart be troubled, nor let it be afraid. Let my perfect peace calm you in every circumstance and give you courage and strength for every challenge. Courage and strength for every challenge. There is no small thing with him, and especially there is no big thing with him, okay? He can take care of all your situations, all your needs, big, small, great, whatever, okay? He can take care of all your needs. But don't get trapped into the world's way of doing things. And that's where we falter. That's where we mess up. Now, what kind of effect does worry have on your body? Well, I'm going to show you.
So many ways. And looking at the top part of my chart here, we're looking at the brain. And worry can add a sense of doom, which can be anxiety. Anxiety is a terrible thing to go through. I've suffered from it before. It is not pleasant. Let me tell you, it is not pleasant. For any of you who have never experienced it, be glad that you never have, and hopefully that you never will. But thankfully, through just knowing about Jesus and letting him take control of things, because at first I was going to take some medicine, which I did for a very short time until I realized I don't need this, and I don't require this for everybody to do. But for me, I knew what I was dealing with, and I knew at that moment, at that time, I needed Christ. I needed to grab hold of Christ and let him be my salve, my application, my soothing ointment to take care of this situation. And I got through it. But anxiety is one, and it's horrible. And that's on the left side of that chart on the top, and then on the right side of it, panic attacks. Panic attacks also come from anxiety. Also, chronic depression is on that chart. On the left side, underneath a sense of doom. Across from that, you have headaches. Depression causes, worry causes depression, worry causes headaches, it causes irritability, which is on the chart. It can cause heart palpitations, meaning an irregular heartbeat. It can cause breathing problems, and all this you see on the chart when you get to enlarge it. It can cause a loss of libido, meaning a drive for sexual desire. It can cause that. It can cause upset stomachs or stomach, which can be accompanied by nausea or diarrhea. It can cause extreme fatigue, which it can make you feel like you just wiped out for the whole day. And you also have sleeping problems. It can increase your blood pressure. It also, and you may not see this on the chart, it also causes muscle aches and other pains associated with your joints. All this coming from worry. All this coming from worry.
So worry can bring all that on, and even more. It can lead to cancer. Yes, worry can lead to cancer. There have been studies about that. It can also lead to heart attacks, stroke. It leads to a whole host of things. It can also lead to alcohol abuse, drug use. Because when you're worried and you're looking for these external things to combat that worry, that fear, that anxiety, so you start to get into those things of smoking, drugs, drinking. All those things can be attributes from worry. So what are the ways to no, let me stop. Let me also say that worry can also creep up on you. I almost forgot about that one. Worry can, there may be times when you think things are going good, but deep down, you you can still have so much on your mind and within yourself that worry can just boom creep right up on you. Let's go to 1 Kings chapter 19. 1 Kings. Let's see. 1 Kings chapter 19. Oops. First Kings chapter 19, verses 1 through 4. And it says, and Ahab told Jezebel all that Elijah had done, and withal how he had slain all the prophets with the sword. Then Jezebel sent a messenger unto Elijah, saying, so let the gods do to me, and more also, if I make not your life as the life of one of them by tomorrow about this time. And when he saw that, he arose and went for his life. He ran for his life. Okay. He ran for his life and came to Beersheba, which belonged to Judah, and left his servant there. Now, we're talking about a man who just fought in a war, won, okay? But now he's scared of one woman. One woman has flipped the switch on him. One woman, after rejoicing in victory, how things have now flipped around in one day. One day. How is that so? I mean, really, how is that so? But I'll read on. Verse 4, it says, but he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness and came and sat down on a juniper tree. And he requested for himself that he might die, and said, it is enough now, O Lord. Take away my life, for I'm not better than my fathers. Think about that. Unlike some others, Elijah didn't pray an exhaustive prayer after a lengthy time of suffering. In fact, it was right after an amazing victory, like I said, where God used him to work a miracle in front of a whole nation, a spiritual high. But only a day later, he came crashing down, running from a vengeful, hungry queen who thirsted to come after him. And he was feeling very alone. So after making sure Elijah's basic needs were met with food, water, and proper rest, God asked Elijah a key question. He needed to think through even the middle of his depression. What are you doing here? God also told Elijah he wasn't alone, because 7,000 others refused to worship idols. And most importantly, God showed the prophet his glory, which didn't look at all like what Elijah thought it would, coming in a still, small voice. Small voice. Haven't we all gone through that situation where we have conquered Goliath, have conquered that, they're going up that mountain, and we've had victory? Be it we came into a bunch of money, we came into a great job, a fantastic situation came about in our life, whatever it may be. We hit that spot, and then quickly we hit flat, we hit rock bottom. And then we let fear and frustration and anxiety come in. Why is that? Why is that we automatically forget God, what he did for us. Just 24 hours prior. 24 hours prior, we forgot what he brought us through. We forgot what he showed us. We forgot that quick. That's why it is important for us to be prayed up every single day, throughout the day, having God in our mindset and in our presence, because things can turn on us that quick. Our life can be flipped upside down that quick if we allow it. If we allow it. But when you have God in your heart, in your midst, in your mind, then you can stay focused. You can be even keeled. When things do come at us, when things do mess up our day, when things do flip our lives upside down. Keep God in your focus, keep God in your life, all throughout the day. All throughout the day. Now, so the ways to combat these situations. Okay, you go let me hit up on Philippians here. Give me a little time here. Philippians. I'm looking for Philippians. Okay, here we go. It says, and this is Philippians chapter 4, verses 4 through 9. It says, rejoice in the Lord, always delight and take pleasure in him. Again, I will say, rejoice. Let your gentle spirit, your graciousness, unselfishness, mercy, tolerance, and patience be known to all people. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious or worried about anything, but in everything, every circumstance and situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, continue to make your specific quest known to God. And that's just like I've been saying, okay? No matter the situation, no matter the trouble, no matter the hurt, no matter the pain, okay? Don't be anxious or worried. You make your petition known to him. You make your prayer known to him, okay? And then you have the confidence. You have the confidence in your heart and your mind, okay? No matter what the circumstances tells you, all right? You have that confidence that your prayer will be met, okay? Your needs will be met. But you have to have it in your heart and starting with your mind. Okay? In verse 7 here it says, and the peace of God, that peace which reassures the heart, that peace which transcends all understanding, that peace which stands guard over your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ is yours. And finally, believers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable and worthy of respect, whatever is right and confirmed in God's word, whatever is pure and wholesome, whatever is lovely and brings peace, whatever is admirable and of good repute, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think continually on these things and center your mind on them and implant them in your heart. And in verse 9 it says, the things which you have learned and received and heard and seen in me, practice these things in daily life. Okay, practice these things in daily life. And the God who is the source of peace and well-being will be with you. Okay, it's just what I've been saying. You apply this to your daily life. You live and breathe the Father. You live and breathe the Son. You live and breathe the Holy Spirit. Because the devil, the enemy, he's coming at us 24/7. Okay, whether we're asleep or not, he's coming at us. He's coming at us, and we need that reinforcement. We need that structure. we need that protection all throughout the day. Okay? All throughout the day. So don't let worry cut you off from God. Don't let worry bring you down. Don't let worry disrupt your life. Let me give you some examples of when you're confident and you know who you are, of how things can be done and your needs can be met. Let's go to Daniel chapter 3. Daniel chapter 3. Let's see. Okay, here we are. Daniel chapter 3, verse 1. And it says, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, made an image of gold whose height was basically 90 feet in height and 9 feet wide. So that's pretty huge. Okay. And go to verse 4 here. It says, the herald loudly proclaimed, and herald meaning the announcer, okay? The herald loudly proclaimed, you are commanded, O people, nations and speakers of every language, that at the moment you hear the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon meaning the 4-string harp, dulcimer, bagpipe, and all kinds of music, you are to fall down and worship the golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar set up. Whoever does not fall down and worship shall immediately be thrown in the midst of the furnace of blazing fire. So when the people heard the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, dulcimer, bagpipe, and all kinds of music, all the peoples, nations, and speakers of every language fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Now, at that time, certain Chaldeans came forward and brought malicious accusations against the Jews. They said, O King Nebuchadnezzar, O King, live forever. You, King, O King, have made a decree that now, I'm stop right there. Basically, to throw it down in today's terms, these are haters, okay? And anytime you have a hater, they're going to be bringing up stuff against you to specifically bring you down, to specifically drag your name through the mud, okay? And it's going to be situations where it's not true, but even so in this situation it can be true, but they're gonna spice it up, spiff it up, spray it with some smell goods, and tickle the ear of whoever they can in order to bring you down. And I know some of you have been through people like that also. Okay? So there are certain Jews, going in verse 12 here, and they were talking to the king. It says, there are certain Jews whom you have appointed over the administration of the province of Babylon, namely, see, now they name dropping here, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these men, O king, paid no attention to you. See, now they spiffing it up here. Okay? They paid no attention to you. They do not serve your gods or worship the golden image which you have set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in a furious rage, see now what they did, they tickled his ear and they hit at his ego. Okay? And with most people, when you tickle that ear and hit at the ego, they forget about their integrity. they forget about their upbringing. Okay, now you're hitting at the ego, and then see we start to lose our integrity. Says Nebuchadnezzar in a furious rage gave a command to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and these men were brought before the king. And Nebuchadnezzar said to them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if you are ready," let's see. Now this is him. Now he's come back. Okay. Now he likes the three of them. Okay. So now the rage has subsided. So now he's trying to think a little more clearly, even though he's got these haters in his ear, but he's trying to think a little more clearly. So now he says, "Now if you are ready, when you hear the sound," see, he's giving them a chance, so to speak, in his mind. He's giving them a chance. "Now if you are ready, when you hear the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, to fall down and worship the image which I have made, very good. But if you do not worship, you shall be thrown at once into the midst of a furnace of blazing fire, and what God is there who can rescue you out of my hands?" Okay. So in verse 16 says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered the king, said, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to answer you at this point." Now, keep in mind also that we're talking about not being worried. Now, here's the situation. Think about it now. You put yourself in this situation, whereas you're about to be put to death. Okay? You're about to be put to death in a very horrible way. It's not like you being injected with some poison that overtakes your body in a matter of minutes and you just quietly die, I guess. Or I've heard some situations it could be violent reactions. But the thing is, it's not a situation like how we do today, where we try to humanely put somebody to death. Okay. This was a situation of extreme horror, being set on fire, like you were being roasted in a cookout or something. Okay. So, and also you had a king here who he really liked them, the three of them. Okay. So he was trying to avoid the situation, but verse 16 says, again, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered the king and said, "We do not need to answer you at this point. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to rescue us from the furnace of blazing fire, and he will rescue us from your hand, O king. But even if he does not," okay, see, they already had the confidence that they're going to be rescued, but they said, "But even if he does not, even if he does not, let it be known to you, O king, that we are not going to serve your gods or worship the golden image that you've set up." So their thing is, no matter what, we're not going to worship your king. We're not going to worship, your gods that you've set up. And shouldn't it be that way with us? Whereas in the midst of our worry, that we do not compromise ourselves, okay, in order to put something else above the God that we serve. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, in the midst of worry, we will start to drink. That becomes a God. In the midst of worry, we start to do drugs. That becomes our God. So we start to worship that, the drugs, the drinking, instead of God the Father. In the midst of worry, we tend to seek other alternatives, or excuse me, other situations or alternatives or whatever it may be, instead of God the Father, or be it Jesus or the Holy Spirit, be the Spirit of truth. So, verse 19, then Nebuchadnezzar was filled with fury, and his facial expression changed toward Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then he gave a command that the furnace was to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. Okay? 7 times hotter than usual. See, what happened right there? His ego came into play again. Because it's like, oh, I'm the king, and now I'm giving you a chance, and you still turning me down? Ego. He commanded certain strong men in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the furnace of blazing fire. Then these 3 men were tied up in their trousers, their coats, their turbans, and their other clothes, and were thrown into the midst of the furnace of blazing fire. And you figure, okay, why mention what they had on? Well, it's just to give you a sense of what's going on, a visual, so to speak. The furnace being turned up hotter 7 times than normal, and you got these clothes on. What will these clothes do? They are more like an igniter, a match, so to speak. Okay, that's why it's brought up. That's why it's mentioned. They had all these clothes. They had all this clothes. These clothings on, clothes, so to speak. So, verse 22. Because the king's command was urgent and the furnace was extremely hot, the flame of the fire killed the men who carried up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Now, isn't that something? The men who brought them, strong men, so like the word says, brought them to the furnace and was going to put them in, they got burned up. Now, that's how hot this fire was and intense it was. They're the ones who got burned up. And that's God working. Verse 23. But these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell into the midst of the furnace of blazing fire, and is still tied up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, looked and was astonished, and jumped up and said to his counselors, did we not throw these 3 men who were tied up into the midst of the fire? And they replied to the king, certainly, O king. He answered, well, look, I see 4 men untied, walking around in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt. And the appearance of the 4th is like a son of the gods. Then Nebuchadnezzar approached the door of the blazing furnace and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out of there. Come here. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the midst of fire. And the satraps, being the princes, the prefects being the governors, and the captains, being the king's counselors, gathered around them and saw that in regard to these men, the fire had no effect on their bodies. Their hair was not singed, their clothes were not scorched or damaged, even the smell of smoke was not on them. That says a lot. That says a lot. Now, me being a non-smoker, I detest the smell of smoke, cigarette smoke, especially cigarette smoke. I cannot stand it. Sorry for my friends who are smokers, but I'm just being my truthful opinion on that. I can't stand the smell of it. It just stinks. Whenever I go into a room or be in a situation where somebody is smoking, and if I'm in someone's, say, apartment or house and they're smoking, I can be in there maybe 5 seconds and come out of there, because I'm not going to stay in there long. come out of there within, say, 5 seconds, I can have that smell of smoke on me. Guaranteed every time, because I don't smoke. So it's like that smoke smell just clings to your clothing. And it just smells awful. Anyway, that's my little rant right there for that. But moving on, verse 28. Nebuchadnezzar responded and said, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescued his servants who believed in, trusted in, and relied on him. Even though they violated the king's command and surrendered their bodies rather than serve or worship any god except their own." And think about that. They violated the king's command and surrendered their bodies rather than serve or worship any god except their own. Now that says a lot right there. That's really deep. "Therefore I make a decree that any people, nation, or language that speaks anything offensive against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut into pieces, and their houses made a heap of rubbish. For there is no other God who is able to save in this way." And see, now here's a man who's coming back to earth on this. Here's a man who had to put his ego aside and see how the true and living God operated, that there is no one who is able to do what he just did. Not his so-called God, not somebody, John Paul's God down the street. No, only the one and true living God can do this. So he pushed his ego to the side and said, "Look, I got to embrace your God. I got to make your God my God, because I've seen from my own eyes. I put you into the fire and you didn't burn. You didn't even smell like smoke. I got to embrace your God. I got to uplift your God." And that's what we got to start doing. We got to start uplifting him. We got to say, "Look, you are the one that can bring us through this trouble and that trouble. You are the one who can save us through the day." And when we start to realize this, it's not about worry. See, we won't be worried about anything. Okay? We won't be feeling down about this and that. Let me give you another one here. Let me give you another one. In Daniel chapter 6. Let's go to Daniel 6. One more here. Daniel 6. And this is now this is King Darius. And this is a situation about Daniel himself. In verse 7, it says, "All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes and the counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask a petition of any god or man for 30 days, save of thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions." Okay. Now, I'm just going to cut to the chase on that, because you know where I'm going with this. We know the story of Daniel being cast into the lion's den, and just like the situation with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, he was not hurt, he was not harmed, he was not injured. Okay? So, the thing is that, again, this subject is about not worrying. Even and I'm giving you the most extreme situations. Okay? This isn't about your rent is due. This isn't about the car note being due. This isn't about your girlfriend ran out on you. This is about you being taken and about to be executed. Matter of fact, you already strapped in the electric chair. You already strapped in the chair, and I'm bringing it more up to date. Then you already strapped in the chair where they're getting ready to put the needle into you. Okay. And even up until that point, if you know you're righteous in that situation, if you know that you are straight with God, you are not worrying. And I know for people, a lot of people, that especially in a situation like that, that can be real hard. But when you have no doubt, and yes, when we are put to the test every day in situations, but I'm talking about this is one of the most extreme. So if I'm giving you a situation of the most extreme and showing that God is with you and taking you through and saving you when you have no doubt, because I keep telling people, remember, when you have doubt is when you kill that prayer, when you kill that hope. So don't doubt. You be strong in your convictions about God bringing you through. So I'm giving you the situation in the most extreme. So just think, when it's not on that level, how much more faith do you need when it's about the rent being due or this or that? How much more faith do you need? So that's why I say, don't worry. Do not worry in these situations. Don't let worry overtake you. Don't let the situations of days of days coming up. You may not even make it to 10 days from now. You may not even make it to then. Live in the now. Live in the moment. Okay? Yeah, you can prepare. You can fix things up for 10 days from now, 20 days from now. But what I'm saying is, do not worry about a day that you're not even living in yet. You got to take care of today. You got to take care of the moment. And the moment says for you to not to worry. You know, like the song says, don't worry, be happy. It's true. It is true. And the sooner that me, you, and everybody else get it into our heads, get it into our minds, get it into our hearts, to stop worrying and stop taking it as, oh, you got to act like everybody else. No, you are a child of God. Stop acting like everybody else. You are unique. You are special. You are set apart from everybody else. So stop acting like the rest of the world. Okay? Stop acting like that. And be unique. Be special. And how do you be special? When all kind of chaos is going around. When all kind of chaos is going around. When things are crumbling down here and there. When we're talking about the government shutdown and all this other stuff. You know how calm I've been in this situation? And no, I don't work for the government. But at the same time, whatever goes on with this government still, in some way, somehow, can affect you and me. What I'm saying is, when chaos is going on, chill. Be calm about it. Be calm about it. Why? Because God has your back.
That concludes this Fantline Messages of Life. I hope that this message edified and blessed you, and that through it, you can be a blessing to someone else. If you're on Facebook, give me a like or comment on it. And if you're on YouTube, give me a thumbs up or down or subscribe. And for both platforms, please tell others about it. Once again, thank you for listening and or watching. Peace.
God opened up a couple doors. Now I'm way more better than before. Bless up. He'll take it to another level. When all your friends say lucky, you don't want to tell them they thought you did it on your own. Could have been gone. Now you're on top. You way too on. Got a new ride. You way too fly. Your favorite on strong. I'ma make it known, I can't help it. I thank God, so I bless her. Yeah, yeah. Bless her. I thank God, so I bless her. Bless her. I thank God, so I bless her. Yeah, yeah. Bless her. I thank God, so I bless her. I thank God, so I bless her. Bless her. I thank God for the bless her. Bless her. Bless her. Bless her. Used to label me a mess up, but God kept giving me the bless up. Bless her. Enemy come and try to test ya, but ain't no sweat, no pressure. You're moving too fast, can't catch up. I promise you we be on it. Joy coming up in the morning. Talk about grace and He's shown it up. I'ma make it known, I can't help it. I thank God, so I bless her. Yeah, yeah. Bless her. I thank God, so I bless her.